Hello everybody, and welcome to this video. I'm going to be talking about how I made a Steam game in a week. So, a couple days ago, I was helping this guy called Dakota. He has a really cool YouTube channel, so I would recommend to check that out. And I was helping him how to learn Unity. And obviously, when you learn a new engine, you should probably have a game idea that you test it out with and kind of try to figure out the consistency between what you're used to and what you're not. And so I tried to come up with something that was like kind of not something that you could normally do in Game Maker, so that you can see the power of Unity and the differences between them. And so I came up with this little prototype of this little square that you can move around and flip, and then you can flip the world around. And I thought that idea was so cool that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a whole game about it. And I guess here we are. And that's Girabox, which is the next game I'm going to be making. I've been making the Outbound Ghost, and that's been going great. But I think that having a smaller game between Loot Box Life, which was my previous game that came out in February and did really well, so if you're interested, you should probably check it out. I don't know, it's like here. It only costs $5, and you should get it. It's really cool. People seem to like it. 94% positive ratings on Steam, so I recommend it. But yeah, so I thought between Loot Box Life and the Outbound Ghost, which are two bigger games, although the Outbound Ghost isn't as big as Loot Box Life, I thought I would make a game that was smaller in scope, maybe something like a small puzzle game that, even though maybe it takes a long time to beat, to make, it's kind of not really repetitive, but I can expand it as I wish. So maybe I can just have all the systems in place and I can make levels as long as I think that the game is interesting. And so the scope is really expandable in that way, and I thought that would be something really interesting. So with this little flippy, rotating the world little game, I thought I would do that. And just to be more specific about what the game is, it's going to be a puzzle game, and what happens is that you're a block, right, and you rotate the world around and you have to get to the star. Basically, it's a bit mobile game-ish, but I think there are some key differences that make it more suited for PC maybe, although I will also be wanting to release it for mobile devices. And so I thought it was a really cool idea. And something that I really like about it in a game development sense is that, as I said before, the scope is really expandable as I wish. I have all the systems in place. I basically did everything in like 2 days, and now it's just about adding levels. And so for the demo, I'll get back to that later, I have a pack of 12 levels, so you can play them. They're completely playable, and the game is completely playable, and if I want to add more levels, I can just add them, and that just adds to the game, and that's it. And so I can basically make the game for as long as I want until I get tired of it. I'll get back to that later as well. But that's what I really like about it, because the scope is really expandable. And so when I said in the intro that I kind of made a game in 1 week for Steam, I mean, I kind of did. It's on Steam right now. You can play it on Steam. But that's only the demo. So if you want to play the demo after watching this video, I would recommend clicking on the link below. It'll send you to the Steam demo, which you can play right now. There's like 12 levels, and you can give me some feedback and yeah, tell me what you think. And it's obviously the demo, so I can change a lot of stuff with how the game works, with the setup, with the physics or whatever. So any kind of feedback is really appreciated, and let me know what you think. So the reason for why I wanted to do a demo was because I thought with my previous games, people didn't really get the chance to test it out until quite late in the development cycle, just because of how I set it up. My previous game was a Metroidvania, and so you can't really play the whole game until you have the whole world set up. So that was kind of a hindrance in that regard. But I think with this new idea, I can get feedback really quickly. I can just have the levels, and the game always works. There's never a point in which the game doesn't work. So I can just ask for feedback in specific levels just like that, without having to have any additional setup. And I think what's really cool about that, I think people would normally call this a minimal viable product, but I have a minimal viable product right now, and I can just expand that for as long as I want, as I mentioned before. I keep on repeating myself, but I think that's something very valuable that not enough game developers do, including myself, because it allows you to kind of envision what the game would look like in a miniaturized form. And since it all already works because it's a product, you can expand it really easily. So I would really recommend that if you're making games. So the game took a bit longer to put on Steam than a week, although the development was less than a week. And the reason for that is because I also set up a website, and so I created it with React, which is something I'm familiar with because I do computer science for university. So I was familiar with React, and I was like, I need a website because I don't really have press kits or anything like that. So if maybe the press or random people want to find out specifics about my games, they can't really do that unless they go through my Twitter feed or look at Steam pages. So I thought it would be very cool to have a website where I can have all that information. And so I made that with React. And then there's this service I was looking for ways to host a React web page. And React, what it is basically a framework to make HTML a bit more JavaScript-y, more programmy, which so like for people that like programming, that's a great thing because HTML is kind of trash, but I would really recommend using React if you haven't heard of it before and you're interested. I use this service called Netlify. I'm not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor me, let me know. And basically what it does is you put up React, like there's like a command to create a React project. And if you just have a folder in which you created that React project and you put it on GitHub, which is like a code hosting platform. If you don't know what GitHub is, it sounds really weird, but if you know what it is, you know what it is. So you put it on this platform, and then if you connect your account with Netlify, it just automatically puts your website there. And it was really easy, and right now I just have the default web link. I think it's conradicalsgames.netlify.com, and you can see my press kits for all my games and all that kind of stuff, including Girabox. So I would recommend going on the link to learn more about the game. And it was really, really easy. So I would recommend using that if you're interested in hosting React websites. Even if you've got like routing and all that kind of stuff, there's like some stuff you have to do, but it's really, really nice. I think it was really worth it because when I first put up my Steam page for my previous game, so Loot Box Life and Outbound Ghost is not out yet, but I still have a Steam page for it. And so I just literally said, hey everybody, Steam page on Twitter. And I mean, still got quite a few wish lists, but I think I would probably get more if I made a YouTube video explaining that I have a Steam page, have a press kit, made it all nice and stuff like that, so that people were more incentivized to click on the wish list button on Steam. And so I did that, and I guess we'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know in the next devlog how my wish list numbers differ from Girabox and Loot Box Life and Outbound Ghost for the first week or two. If you're interested in that, and in general, if you're interested in anything else regarding my games or Girabox, which is the current game I'm working on, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video about that if people think that's something they would like to hear about. And yeah, going back to what I was talking about, I thought it would be much nicer to just have a complete setup and just, not really a bombshell, but just put a lot of information out there at once so that people can't really miss the fact that there's a page to wish list. Essentially. And if you don't know, wish listing is really important for games. So if you're interested in having a game on Steam, prioritize wish lists before your game comes out, because essentially the Steam algorithm, once your game comes out, it'll put you higher up in its algorithm rankings depending on how many wish lists you have. So wish lists almost correlate linearly to the sales. So more wish lists means more people play your game, so it's a good thing. So with the game itself, here I'm going to be showing a bit of what the demo looks like, but as you can see here, the character falls down aligning with gravity once the world is rotated. So even though the world rotates, the gravity stays constant, so it's always down. So I think that's really interesting, and it lends itself to really interesting puzzles. And the first couple ones, as you can see here, are very simple. But then as you progress into later levels, you have these green blocks which you can push around, and it has a bit of a, not Tetris, but you know that game where you have 9 blocks and then you have to arrange them. I'll put a picture up here, but it has vibes of that game, and it's very puzzly and stuff like that. And I think even though you don't like puzzle games, it's a very good speedrun game. So I really focused on adding speedrun timers and stuff like that. So every single level has its own speedrun timer, and every pack, which is an assortment of 12 levels, also has its own speedrun timer, and they will each have Steam leaderboards. So you'll have 13 leaderboards per pack, 1 per level, and then 1 for the whole pack on its own. So if you like speedrunning, this game is also for you. So I wasn't able to get Steam leaderboards into the demo, but it will definitely be in the final game, and you'll have a lot of opportunity to optimize that kind of stuff. You'll have one leaderboard per level, and also one per pack of 12 levels. And if there's maybe like 10 or 20 packs, you can see there's a lot of room to get like the best score and stuff like that. And there's so many levels that you'll probably get top 10 or something in one of the leaderboards. So that's kind of cool. So here are my times for the demo. If you can beat them, let me know in the comments, or maybe tweet at me an image of your pack level select screen. I think that would be really interesting to compare you guys' score to mine. And let me know. That's it for this devlog. If you're interested in other stuff relating to Girabox, maybe how I got the world to rotate, or how I'm setting up the different managers for inputs and level transitions and stuff like that, let me know, and I'll do that for the next devlog. And so I'll see you guys later.